Hello and welcome back to the Marketing Chatroom. I'm Kayla Bright here with Amber Fortier. She is a real estate advisor at Sotheby's here in Sacramento. She is also the founder of the Network Society.
Yes, which is how we met each other.
Exactly, yeah. So welcome. And the
Thank you.
Network Society, if you don't know, is a super cool monthly, twice a month networking event in Roseville and in Sacramento. So you should definitely check it out. But Amber, would you please give us a brief introduction just on yourself and what you do?
So I am in real estate. I have been now for 9 years. And then that led me to attending networking events. Then in 2020, we all know what happened. Everything, shut down. In 2021, March of 2021, once we were allowed to gather again and kind of be around people, I decided to start my own networking event since the one that I had been attending wasn't coming back. And I knew, just like me, I thrive on people. I need people. Like, I wasn't okay having people removed from me for so long. So I knew people needed people. I knew they needed that human connection again. I also knew businesses struggled. Businesses shut down. Businesses had to pivot and become online and change what they were doing. And a lot of businesses kind of needed a jump start. So I figured a networking event was a great way to kind of bring all that together, people, and just help each other. Got off to a very slow start. Like, I was embarrassed because the first month, I think we had like 4 people that all came from our other founders BNI group. And then there was like 6 people, then there was maybe 10 people. And then all of a sudden something happened and we had 20, and then it just kept growing from there. And now we have a database of almost 1,000 people.
Wow.
And it's been almost 3 years. March will be 3 years. So it's grown a lot, but it's not just the amount of people, it's the type of people. And that's my bigger thing. For me, it's quality. I want good people that truly understand what networking is about, building relationships, and supporting one another. So even if you're not going to exchange business, you have a support system. If something goes wrong or if you just need help with something. Like, we lost our venue abruptly. The restaurant closed.
Oh, wow.
I found out Thursday night at 8:30, and our event was the following Tuesday. They were closing on Sunday. I reached out to about 10 people. Within a half hour, I had 3 locations because of the people. And I even had someone pay for the venue that she found because she just wanted us to be able to have a spot. So that's what I mean by a support system. Like, I have people that I'm just like, hey guys, I need your help. And they're there and they help me. And that's really important, is to have that. Because owning a business or being in business, it's lonely.
Yeah.
And it's hard. And there's a lot of things that you have to be good at or be able to pay for. And a lot of people can't afford to pay for it. So you just kind of need to bounce ideas off of each other and have that, like I said, support system of people that can just, have your back and like help you navigate. So
That's awesome.
And then I also, I don't want to say I run it because it's not truly mine, but I'm the head of a philanthropy group, a women's philanthropy group. It's a giving circle called Women Empowering Sacramento. So that's another kind of thing I do as well.
Awesome.
So kind of we're really big on supporting women-owned business, supporting each other. Again, a support system, a safe space for women to come together, talk about what they're passionate about, talk about things that they really, are true to their hearts. So that's those are the things that I do.
Nice. Awesome. So you wear a few different hats around here.
I do.
Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing. And then I'm super excited to jump into our hot seat combo here today because I know a little bit about what you're going to share with us. So I asked you a couple of days ago what one of your top favorite marketing campaigns is because I wanted a link to it because I wanted to see it. And it's like one of those that'll give you chills. So please tell us about one of your favorite marketing campaigns of all time.
So I just saw it recently on Instagram, and it's a video called For the Core Down Foundation. That's about...
I was trying to put it on silent. Okay, you can start that part over.
So the video is something I saw on Instagram. I started following a woman who has Down syndrome. That's one of the first models we've ever had with Down syndrome. And she shared a video from an organization called Core Down. And it has to do with when we place limitations on people who are differently abled. I don't like the term disabled. I like the term differently abled. So when people place restrictions on people who are differently abled, it makes those restrictions come true. What we it's like we're deciding for them what's going to happen and what's not going to happen, and it's not fair. So the whole video, it's even simple things like they don't want to serve somebody an alcoholic beverage so she doesn't get to have one. They don't want to teach her Shakespeare because they think it's beyond her comprehension. And then the flip side of it is I did learn Shakespeare. I did do this. I did do this. So she actually gets to achieve because people let her achieve. So it's one of those videos that, like, I know what it's going to say. I've watched it enough times I almost can recite it. Yeah. Every single time I watch it, like, I almost cry. Like, I get choked up, and I just, like, I feel. And that, to me, is the most powerful type of marketing. It needs to invoke emotions. Mm-hmm. I either need to cry or I need to laugh my ass off. Like, it has to be one of those things for it to really, but that's just one that it's just powerful. That's all I can say about it. It's a powerful message, and I've shared it multiple times with people. Yeah. So
it's really a nice one. It is powerful, and it'll definitely get that emotional reaction out of you. And I love things like that because, you hope that they get the visibility that they deserve, and that it really impacts people on a personal level, and that we can slowly start changing the world through, little marketing things like that. So I'll definitely link that one below so you guys can check it out and comment what you think about that video. And then my next question for you is, if you could join the marketing team for any brand in the world, what would it be and why?
Have to be something with animals, because I have 2 dogs right now. They're both from a rescue. I've adopted 5 now, and I'll keep doing that as long as I live. I used to take cats in off the street when I was a kid. I mean, we took in a cat we didn't know was pregnant until she had babies in our garage that she refused to take care of, so I was bottle feeding like kittens. So I grew up, like, with animals in my home, and it's just something that, like, I follow a ton of pet rescues and, like, shelters, and I've had to unfollow some because, like, I've literally cried over dogs dying that I've never met before. My husband's like, "What? Why are you so sad today?" I'm like, "Well, remember that dog in New York?" And he's like, "No." So for me, like, that's just, I have a lot of things I'm passionate about but it would be something with, I don't know if it'd be like Humane Society, SPCA, or just some sort of local, but, like, just getting the word out more about rescue animals. Yeah. Because they're such a bad, people just, like, they think that rescue animals have problems, or and they're, most of them aren't. Most of them are the best dog you're ever going to have. Mm-hmm. So for me, that's being their voice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love that. I have a little rescue pup in the other room that you just met, and she's so sweet. So we love to see animals finding loving homes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be fun to work for, like, some kind of agency that helps support animals, for sure, because I feel like there is a lot you can do, and sometimes it gets really sad. But there's a lot you can do on social media to, like, help get pets adopted.
There is. I mean, I just constantly share dogs that need to be adopted or are on the youth list, or just different things, fundraisers, and I'll throw, like, little bits of money here and there if I really, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, which my husband doesn't really know about.
Hopefully he's not watching this episode.
No. It's not a ton, but it's like, if I can help in a little way, or if, like, they need blankets, I'm like, I can donate my old blankets. There's tons of stuff that we can do that you don't need a lot of time or money, you know what I mean? But if I volunteered at the shelter, I would rescue, like, 25 dogs.
You would run a farm.
I would.
That's awesome.
Let's be serious.
Yeah. It's so hard. It's I'm not very good at being serious.
Neither am I. I mean, there's a photo of us at the networking event, and I'm like, because I laugh with my whole body, and I bend forward when I'm laughing hard. And if you really get me going, I'll snort. Like, that's people's goal, is to make me snort when, like, they make me laugh. But I'm just like, I can't. It's hard to be serious.
It is.
Especially with cameras.
I know. I do the same thing at networking events. Anytime there's, like, a photographer, or even, like, I don't know, someone's, like, taking photos at a networking event, I've never once been captured, like, not smiling. Like, I'm always, like, I always look like I'm having, like, the most, like, I'm telling the most hilarious joke in every networking photo I've ever taken. Like, is she ever serious? We're not sure, but it's fine.
You're having fun.
All right, so our first word, we're going to do our marketing vocab section. So our first word is going to be video, and basically just whatever comes to mind when you think of video in relation to marketing or your experience in the marketing world. We'll talk about that.
Okay. Right now?
Yeah, right now.
So, video is one of those that I have a love-hate relationship with, to be quite honest, because I understand we're all trying to be seen. We're all trying to be relevant, and videos where we're all pushed and we're all told like video, video, video. But there's a fine line of showing your true self and connecting to people and just doing something just for the sake of doing it. And I don't believe in doing a video for the sake of doing a video just so it can. Most of the time, I mean, some of my videos, I don't really do serious videos that much, but I like to highlight Sacramento. That's what I like to do, and I'm not the best at doing videos. But sometimes I feel like I put so much effort into one, and then I was like, oh, great, like hardly anyone saw it, which doesn't mean people didn't pay attention to it. That's the thing that I actually realized a while ago is whether or not you're getting likes and comments, you have no idea who's watching what you're doing and who's actually paying attention.
Yeah.
And I've received a lot of compliments on my LinkedIn, more than anything. But just someone told me it's because it's wholesome content and because of the things that I share. But yeah, video is one of those. It's just like I get it as a tool, but it can easily kind of derail what you're trying to accomplish if you're not careful with what you're saying or what you're doing. You want to be viewed as a professional, but you want to show your human side. So it's like, what you know what I mean? That's where I struggle the most with myself. Like, what do I actually do? And I like to be a funny person, so it's hard for me. And if I keep telling myself, oh, once this, then I'll do video. Once this, then I'll do video. Well, it's been like 2 years, and I still don't have consistent like videos that I do. I always find something wrong with it. But yeah, with video, it is a powerful tool, but it can blow up in your face, I think, really quickly if you don't do it right.
Yeah.
So, and then it also just creates so much noise. And here's the thing too, like depending upon your platform, well, Instagram, do people really go to Instagram to learn and to be like super informed, or they go to be entertained by funny dog videos like me, because that's like mostly what I watch. You know what I mean? It's like I go to kind of just like numb my mind. I don't go to learn about interest rates or like what the market's doing.
Yeah.
I'd probably get that from LinkedIn. So I think it's just hard to determine, you know what I mean, what you need to do and where you need to do it. And then if you have to do one video for this platform, one video for this platform, and one video for this platform, it just becomes such a time suck.
It does take a lot of time. Yeah, it takes so much time to produce video, create video, even film video.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point. And especially within the platform context too. Like, exactly like you said, people aren't going to Instagram for like business stuff usually. Like, we're going on Instagram because we're so tired of working and we need a break.
Yeah, or you're at a red light and you're like, I just want to watch something stupid for like 30 seconds while I'm stuck here. You know what I mean? Or waiting in a doctor's office. So it's not really where people, I feel like, go to be like super educated and informed.
Yeah, definitely not. Every once in a while it'll work out, like someone you know needs your services and you talked about it a few times on social media. Like, great, I think that's a good balance.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately, like LinkedIn and YouTube are much better for reaching that type of audience in when they're in the right headspace. Obviously, it's the same people, but but it's just a different headspace, a different mindset that you're in. And then I liked what you said about I forgot what you said. I liked what you said.
I don't even remember what I said, so I can't tell you.
No, I remember. It's coming back to me. About. No,
let's be serious.
This is a serious podcast. It was about you never know who's watching you. Like, you can put a lot of time and effort into producing like this wonderful video and like you think it's great, and then it only gets like 1 or 2 likes. And I found that even, this is only episode 4 of this podcast, but I out and about networking, I've had so many people be like, congratulations on the podcast, like, can't wait to watch it. So it's like, it's still on people's radar that like I started a podcast, even though they haven't like clicked view or clicked like they know that I have a podcast. There's like an awareness, like just like you said, that I'm doing this, even though like my engagement on YouTube isn't amazing right now. Like, nobody's watching my videos.
I watched one when I was prepping.
Thank you. That's so nice. A couple of my friends have watched it, and I'm like, you watched the whole thing? That was so nice of you. So shout out to the real ones. I love that. But yeah, even with like, I have a networking newsletter. I'll have to add you to it if you're not on it. I add your events to it every month.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a networking newsletter that I send out to my network of people that I've just met out and about. I've collected like their emails, their business cards. We've stayed in touch. We're on LinkedIn, whatever. All local people to the Sacramento area. And I just list like a bunch of networking events that I know about for the month. Like, here it is. And people, the same thing with that, like people read it and they never respond, like they never say anything, but then I'll see people in person and they'll be like, oh, your newsletter is so great, like keep doing that. Or like people I don't know will be like, oh, you're the one with the newsletter, and I'm like, how do you, like who told you? So keep doing what you're doing. People are paying attention,
They
even
really
if you think
are.
they aren't.
Yeah, no, they really are.
Yeah.
And I've had people tell me, I love the stories you tell. And I'm like, oh, you read that? You know what I mean? I was like, because again, you base everything on likes and comments and interaction.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I read tons of stuff that I like, but I don't actually like it, or I don't actually do anything about it. But I read stuff or see stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I make mental notes of certain things, but people have no idea that I did that.
Right.
Because I didn't engage with because you just don't have time to engage with everything that you like.
No. We'd just be liking things all day.
Yeah, it's a full-time job keeping up with like social media when you're doing it yourself, and then you want to support everybody. Mm-hmm. But in order to do that, there's just so much.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of like Yelp or like Google reviews. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I have like an absurdly incredible experience, I'll write a review. Or if like someone asks me to, I'll write a review. But other than that, like I'd be writing reviews all day. Like every gas station I went to, every restaurant, like everything. It's just, it can be too much.
Oh, we just started asking for reviews for
There
the
you
next.
There you go. But if you're asking people who know you, they'll usually do it.
Yeah. Because people constantly give me comments about it, or they text me, or they like make comments on social media. I'm like, if you could just put that in one place, like right here, that way other people can see it, that would be great. Thanks.
Right, exactly. Yeah. We can have just like a little collective of all the nice things people say about us. Love that. It's the best. All right, next word we're going to talk about is a little bit of a weird one, but it's screens.
Something that we're all overly obsessed with.
Yeah.
So, like I told you when I got here, I was just at Temple Coffee. I was prepping for this podcast. I've never done this before. So I was reading like the notes that you had sent me, and I had my earbuds in because I was listening to, I watched the clips that you put on LinkedIn just to kind of get an idea of what was going to happen. And then once I removed my earbuds, the lady next to me who was there with her daughter, she's like, oh, what are you doing? Like, are you prepping for an interview, or like, what are you doing? And I was like, well, my first, like, I'm going on a podcast and I've never done it before. She's like, really? For what? So I told her, turns out she's a small business owner and she's been struggling to find her space and where she needs to market herself. And she's like, she does laser and woodwork. And she's like, I tried Etsy. It just doesn't translate for me to be online. I'm not good at being online. And she's like, but when people meet me and I explain what I do, and I was like, same, I totally get that. Like my business comes from being social. It just does. It always has. That's who I am. I'm like a super extrovert, social butterfly, like people person. So that's, and so talking to her about that, she's like, I told her about the networking event. And that's a big thing for me, having that instead of me trying to talk about real estate. No one cares. Yeah. There's so many realtors, and like usually my response when someone's like, what do you do? Oh, I don't need to buy a house. I'm like, cool, I don't want to have one in my pocket. I'm gonna like try to get you to buy, just so you know. That's not how it works. But it's like, so leading with that, like I stopped and I lead with, I run a networking event or I run a women's philanthropy group, and that helps me kind of get into conversations with people. And for her, she's like, it's hard, like I have a 4-year-old, I'm trying to run my own business, like, you know what I mean? So I was like, just come to my networking event. And she even told me, she's like, I'm kind of scared because you walk into a room where you don't know anyone. I was like, but luckily we have very welcoming people. We don't, like, there are some of us that have become really good friends because it's been going for almost 3 years. So we definitely, but it's not cliquey. Like if you just walk up to any group of people and start talking, as long as you're not shoving business, like business card down their throat, like there's some people don't know how to network. Let's just say that. So as long as you're just there to meet people and understand like building relationships, you'll be fine. I was like, and I told her, just come find me, come find one of the other founders. We'll introduce you to people and we'll kind of help you like get started.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's like, I get that it's intimidating and it's scary. So it's like, you kind of, you know what I mean? I was like, well, now you've met me in person. She asked me for my business card. I'm like, just text me, I'll give you the information. But I was like, and part of what we want to do with the networking is build a support system for people. It's not just an event. It goes way far beyond that. And there's a lot that we're building and going to kind of announce next year.
Yeah.
But anyway, if I didn't take out my earbuds at some point, if I would have just like walked to my car with my earbuds in with my face down, or if I never would have, you know what I mean? Like given her any indication that it was okay to talk to me.
Yeah.
At one point I did push my phone to the corner. I took my earbuds out and I was just sitting there. And that's when she said something to me. But so many times people are just head down, just, you know what I mean? When there's so much going around them that they miss out on.
Yeah.
Completely miss out on.
Yeah. That's a good point. It's important to be mindful. I think just be mindful of that in our daily lives because, like, we have our computers, we have our phones, we have our TVs. Like, there are so many screens all the time, and there's always so many things happening on all the screens. Like, I know I've been guilty of, like, going places, and I'm like on a work call, and then I'm, like, simultaneously, like, checking Slack on my phone, and I'm, like, responding to work messages, responding to emails, and it's, like, what about the people around you? Like, be more mindful of, like, where and how and when we're using our screens. Because obviously we need them to operate in this in this century, but
we do. But we also need people, and we also need human connection. And I mean, humans are who's going to hire you for business too. You know what I mean? So it's like it's very important to just not constantly be focused on those things and just be open to. Even I had a friend who moved to Nevada, and she walked up to a lady at the park and asked her what time it was because she had a watch on. She could have easily looked at her phone to see what time it was. She wound up building a friendship with that woman, and it was the first friend she made when she moved there. And years later, they're still friends, and their kids play together. But I was like, that's the difference of just being on your phone, or just like she had a watch, you were right next to her. Instead of taking the time to pull it out, you just engaged with another human being to ask. You know what I mean? So it's like that little tiny thing that she did just kind of, you know, opened up a whole new like world to her and helped her make friends.
The next word we're going to talk about is networking, and I'm obviously big networker. I am too. But I'm specifically curious. You said I want to hear about like the value of networking, but you said something that I thought was interesting, that a lot of people don't know how to network. Do you have any like tips for how people could get better?
So I've had this happen at my own event, and to be honest, people get weeded out real quick who do stuff like this. So they literally just come up to you, shake your hand like, I do this, and here's their card, and then they'll like text you and be like, are you ready to open that whatever with me? Are you ready to It's like, I don't know you, I'm not just gonna hand my business to you. So that's one thing. Like if you come in like too aggressive, or if you come in thinking you're just gonna get business because you show up once or twice, you're not. And I've been asked a few times, how much business have you gotten out of doing this networking event? I'm like, first of all, not the point for me. That's like, it's a nice benefit to networking, but that's not why I started this. Like I said, I want to support other small businesses. It's like my passion project, supporting others in small businesses. So, yes, that's like a result of building relationship. But, so people who kind of just come in too hot, I guess you could say, and get kind of forceful with, you know what I mean? If someone asks for your business card, give it to them. You know what I mean? But like, you don't just shake hands and try to collect as many cards as possible. You want to meet people. You want to have an actual conversation. You want to, you know, talk about things. I always connect with every single person that registers for the event on LinkedIn, which is how I've built my LinkedIn so much. That way we can keep in touch on a business level. Some people follow like social media and stuff, but LinkedIn for me. But yeah, people just, they don't understand it. And there's a lot of opportunity there if you just put in the time and put in the work. You have to keep showing up. You have to meet people. You have to build those relationships. You have to earn someone's trust. Then potentially you get to earn their business. Or if not earning their business, I think networking, it's made me a better resource for everybody. Everybody I know. I get the most random requests now for like, do you know someone who does this? Do you know someone? Like, I do. And if I don't, I know someone who probably does. So even my own office, we use WhatsApp, and people are like, I need someone for this. I'm like, here you go. So it's like, I'm a resource for them. I'm a resource for my clients, for my friends, for everybody. And just being able to connect people, that's important to me. And that's, you know, I really enjoy that aspect of it.
That's
awesome. Using it too, indirectly got a client from attending a networking event. So I don't even remember. I had just started with Sotheby's. When did I start with them? Time is so blurry. I think in like 2019. The lady randomly walked into our office and asked a question about our signage. because it's international real estate. So she walked in, she's like, if I wanted to buy a house in Germany, could you guys help me? And our front desk girl was like, I don't know. Like, you know, so I walked up and I was like, hi, like, I heard you ask a question. She's like, I'm not in the market or anything, just curious. Fast forward, so I start talking to her. I'm like, well, what do you do for a living? She sells radio ad space and does marketing, more specific type of marketing, but mostly it's like radio ads and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, I go to a networking event. You need to come with me.
Yeah.
Instead of launching into trying to, like, you know what I mean, like sell myself or get in with her somehow, it was more like, you do this. I have an opportunity for you to like introduce you to people. It wasn't my networking event. That was like one I used to attend. So she did. She went 2 or 3 times with me, and having someone she knew made it easier for her. We wound up becoming friends. In 2020, a cat started living in my backyard that she adopted, which is like a little weird side thing. And then eventually, when she did want to sell her house and buy a new one, she actually used me.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Which was not my goal
from
the start. It was just meeting someone. I went out for coffee with her, built a relationship. And then at one point, like, I mean, how do I say this? But even because I was supporting her, it was like she supported me in return. She started showing up to my networking event. She's done certain things for my office. She's giving me like tickets to stuff to take my nephew, you know what I mean, to things because she has access to that. So it's like, it's about, like I said, building a relationship. And I was never doing it to try to like, what can I get from her? Or it was how can I support her?
Yeah.
So having a networking event to invite somebody to eventually like helped me in my business. So that's another part of it. Instead of just trying to like get business from somebody, invite them to a networking event. Introduce them to people. Just support them. You know what I mean? And eventually things come back to you. And that's the other part. Yeah, that's the other part people miss. So it's like, it's not just about what business am I going to get out of this. It's like, how can I leverage this in the most ways to reach the most people and help the most people, and then also be seen as a resource.
Right.
That's the core of it that so many people just.
I know. Some people really don't. It's like, and I think I had to learn that when I started networking, because I came from the world of education, and then so it's been like 2.5, 3 years since I've like been in the business world. And so I had to learn like what networking was and how it worked. Like at first I thought like, okay, you show up, you meet these people, you give them your business card, and then you leave, and then you like maybe go to another event. But then what I learned over time is like, when you start showing up to different events within the community, especially in Sacramento. I don't know what it's like other places, but in Sacramento, it's great. And then you actually make friends. Like, you start seeing the same people at the events, and you recognize them. And then you don't feel as scared to go to an event because you know no matter what networking event I go to in the city, like, I'm going to know at least one person at this point because I've gone to so many. And now I have all these friends, and it's, like, so lovely to reconnect with them every time I go. And they introduce me to people that they know, and I introduce them to people I know. Like, I hosted a networking event last night for Two Trees, and it was so fun. I feel like I was joking with my coworkers. I was like, I didn't actually talk to anyone. All I did the whole night was be like, you should meet them, and you should meet them. And then I was like, bye. Like, I didn't like really have a conversation. I just made other people have conversations, and I love doing that because it's like, I know you two can help each other, and I would love to see that flourish. Like, there's really nothing in it for me other than people are like, oh wow, she's good at connecting people. I can, I remember her because I see her networking, and like, if I ever need digital marketing or know someone who does, like, I'll call her. But like, it's not the point, like, to convince everyone who doesn't need digital marketing to work with me.
Right. And I'm sure you found that, like, when you go to an event, how many people are in marketing?
Yeah.
How many people are in real estate? How many people are financial advisors? How many people sell life insurance? So you start, like, it gets tricky when you're networking, you know what I mean? And I've had people ask, oh, is your networking event only for realtors? I'm like, absolutely not. And that's like not what I don't want to attract everyone from the same industry because that's not beneficial for anyone. We want you know what I mean? We need them. And we have like a guy that teaches archery classes to kids. Yeah. You know what I mean? Something super unique like that. There was a guy who started his own lip balm company, and it's like, those are very different things.
That's cool.
But yeah, I forgot where I was going with that actually.
Yeah. Well, I think just that you meet so many different, like, interesting people, and they can all help you in, like, unexpected ways sometimes.
They can. Yeah. They can, like, a lot.
Yeah.
And it could be in like not even the business world, you know what I mean? It could be in like other ways as well. And like you were saying though, like meeting friends at networking events. I mean, I've been to people's houses now. I've met their wives. I've met their kids. They're invited, like a bunch of people from the networking event were part of my birthday celebration. I celebrate a lot. Like I do all these things. But like I had a paddleboard day and tons of people in the group paddleboard. So we've actually done that a couple times. So you know, fun. We have memberships too where we do social stuff just with the members, but it's like we did a baseball game this year. You know what I mean? Because it's about, again, building relationships and actually having like, it's a relationship. It's not just, we met here, I know what you do. It's building those quality like relationships with people. And I'm just, like I said, I'm such a people person that it's, for me, it's a passion project.
And honestly, it's a way to market yourself, not just like as like, hi, I'm Kayla and this is my job and this is what I do at my job, but like just as a person. Like,
right. Which is why people hire you.
Yeah.
People don't hire you because like, people don't hire me because of the company I work for.
Right.
Or because who my broker is. People hire me for me. And that was a big thing I struggled with when I started. It's like, well, and sales, I hate, it's like a dirty word for me. I don't like being told that I'm in sales. I'm in a relationship business. That is what I do. I'm in sales, but it's more like I'm selling myself because I'm trying to, you know what I mean? I have to market myself. Totally. And I didn't realize that it was like, I'm my own brand. And like, and then that also is like, oh, so if I don't get hired, it's because they actually don't like me. Which is like, what? Someone doesn't like me? So that was a struggle for me. You know what I mean? Realizing all of those things because it's like, I have my license, so do 20-something thousand other people. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like, why? Well, it's because they trust me and they like me, and that's, you know what I mean, the biggest thing. Yeah. So, and showing up and being around people all the time is how you build that. So building a relationship is super important. I'm hard in sales. That's my full title, but it really is about relationships, like building their initial relationship, like trying to get to know the client and understand, like on my end, like what their marketing needs are, and like alongside also trying to get to know them as a person. And like last night we had that event, which was super fun, and some of our clients luckily like came out to network, and it's just so fun to be able to like introduce them, like this is our client, and have them just like chat about life with everyone in the room. I love it so much. I've had a few people reach out and be like, I want to start a networking event. I'm like, okay, how much money do you have and how much time do you have? And they're like, what? I'm like, I've invested over $5,000 in the last 2.5 years with stuff I've done, and I spend at least 10 hours a week. You know what I mean? Like, I go through LinkedIn and I invite people, and as soon as I'm like, oh, I don't have to do that anymore, attendance drops off. I'm like, wait, what? Everyone knows about the event. Like, seriously? So it's like the marketing stuff, because I came up with the branding. I came up with like, I've done everything. Yeah. Right? You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a lot. And unless you can hire someone to do it, you know, you got to do it yourself. And so when I tell people the amount of time I put into it and what I do and what it takes, they're like, never mind. Yeah. I'm like, well, I mean, what do you expect? You know what I mean? You can't, just like anything. It's a business, essentially, and I have to run it like a business, and I have to treat it like a business, and you know what I mean? And put all the effort into it. And I'm fine with it because I enjoy it. But it's funny that people don't realize how much work. And I've seen people try to start them, and you know what I mean? And it just doesn't work out. And sometimes I can tell why, and sometimes I can't. But it's not just like, hey, let's all go hang out, and it just magically works.
Right. I mean, it's that consistency piece too. Like, I mean, again, and like the way you market it, like you're marketing the consistency of, I know your events are every month in Sacramento and every month in Roseville, and that's a pretty big frequency. Like our events are once a quarter. Much easier to manage, but like people rely on that consistency. They know they can always go those 2 days a month to those 2 locations to connect with people, and that's important. Cool. Well, our conversations are so good that we're going to have to like skip a couple of things. I love this. Okay. So
I like to talk.
I do too. And I mean, that's what a podcast is about. So I'm going to ask you one of the many, many questions we decided on for this episode. And it's going to be, what is your favorite thing about your job?
People. Shocker, right?
I can't believe it.
So for me, it's people. It's helping people. And I really believe in education and helping people make informed decisions that are right for them. It's not just like, oh, I need to make, my mortgage, so I got to sell this house, or I got to, there's a lot about my industry I find gross, and like that really bothers me. So for me, I just really focus on people, doing right by people, and like I said, educating them and helping them make like really good decisions. Even sometimes my husband overhears my conversations. He's like, "You're in sales. It sounds like you're trying to talk him out of it." I'm like, no, but I need them to realize like what they're in for and what they're going to be up against, and if this really makes sense for them or not. And sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it does. And for me, I take being a fiduciary very seriously. You know what I mean? And I also I want people to have a good experience, and I want people to stay my friend.
Yeah.
I struggle after I've closed an escrow, I'm like, wait, we're not going to talk every day? I'm not going to get invited to your house? What?
Can you still text me?
Yeah, can we still be best friends? No.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's hard because I just love people so much, you know what I mean? And overall, almost every single person I've worked with in the last 9 years, I've had a really enjoyable experience, and I have made friends with a lot of people.
Yeah.
I've been invited to weddings. I literally got invited to my client's I think she just turned 9 or 10. She had a Taylor Swift birthday party,
Oh my gosh.
and she invited me.
I
went. And her daughter was super surprised I was there.
Oh, that's so
I'm
cute.
You know what I mean? So it's that's the stuff that it makes all the crap that we have to go through, and the sleepless nights and the stress and the really hard stuff, it makes it all worth it. Is just connecting with people and helping people and just being an advocate for them and being there for them and being there long term. It's not just oh, I did my job, go away.
Right.
I actually really I'm here for you. You know what I mean? Always. So yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I feel the same with my clients. I sell them, I onboard them, I bring them on, and then I have to pass them off to one of my coworkers, and I'm like, no, but bye. I'll miss you. I still care about the success of the client, so I make sure that I'm really involved in the onboarding process with the clients, because I want to make sure that they feel good about, I super trust all my coworkers. They're being put into good hands, but I want to make sure they feel good about it and that they're prepared, and that everything that I, promise them in the upfront part of the sell, is happening and is communicated to the right people on the teams, because that relationship is so important to me. I don't just want them as a client. I want them to be successful. I want them to be happy. Our job is to make them make more money. And I want to, do everything we possibly can to help that happen, because it's the relationship, and at the end of the day, it's we want those people to be successful. We want them to not only say nice things about us, but have good feelings about us as a company. That's what we're here for. Right.
But it's hard, when you really connect with someone and you feel you became friends with them, and then you're wait, I don't want you to go away. So I struggle with sometimes. I'm okay, they weren't actually your friend. They were just you were just there for this little thing. But in general, I do have good relationships with a lot of them, and I'm fortunate that they keep me around, and That's awesome. I get to be parts of stuff. You know what I mean? And so, but yeah.
Yeah, me too. I'm oh, there's going to be a client lunch. I'll be there. I'll plan a client lunch if I have to. We'll stay in touch. I'm not disappearing.
I've done client appreciation events, and even my broker, he does Santa Claus photos. So he cute. Puts on a big thing so we can invite our clients, and there's so much sweets for the kids and activities. We decorate our whole office Whoville, and we have a Santa and a professional photographer. So it's things like that, just so we can keep, you know what I mean, that going with our clients and show them that we really do appreciate you. You're you're not just a transaction.
Yeah.
We actually appreciate you. You know what I mean? So yeah.
As a person. Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, last section is add, pass, or fail. So I'll tell you about an ad, and we might even watch it. It's a short one, but it's funny. So, you know how KFC's slogan is finger looking good?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know about this, but
I do.
COVID, during COVID, they were ooh, that's not a great look. So they made an ad where it was all just blurred out, it was a bad word or something. I think it's kind of funny. What are your thoughts?
Actually, I thought you were going to go to a different marketing thing that I think they did in the UK.
Oh, okay.
Where something got messed up and they were using a curse word in there.
Oh.
In their marketing. But it fit, and it was funny, and it really worked for them. There was a chicken shortage or something that got screwed up. So they owned it. That was the thing about it. Okay. They owned their mistake because they had messed up.
Yeah.
And just kind of made a funny ad campaign. It worked in I think it was the UK or something like that. they're a little bit more, I don't know, liberal with what they're allowed to market. In the U.S., I don't know that it would have worked so well. But yeah, it was like they took ownership of it and they just like ran with it and made it funny. And I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's kind of what they did with the one I was describing too.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, shoot, like we can't be telling people to lick their fingers when everyone's like, don't touch your face, don't touch anything.
Wear gloves, wear, you know, like all the things. So
yeah. So it's funny that they're like, they have that awareness and they're able to kind of like play off of it in a little bit of a comical way.
Right, and be lighthearted about like, you know, especially that it was a weird situation for all of us and we didn't all know like how to handle it.
Yeah.
So to be able to do something like that, clever and kind of like make people laugh during that time. Like I said earlier, what I find like is a good ad, you reach me emotionally or you make me laugh.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm looking for.
Exactly.
So something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was cute. I'll give it a pass.
I'll have to go watch it.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. I'll put the link in the thing.
Okay.
It's like it's not that funny, but it's just it'll make you chuckle a little bit.
Yeah. No, it's clever and that's what you need to do. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Popeyes didn't do. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Stand out a little bit. It's the competition. Yeah, I mean, it just happened to work out for them. That was their slogan. So thank you. This has been a really fun conversation. I really enjoyed chatting with you today. So you can find Amber on Instagram and LinkedIn. I'll link her little handles here, but look up the Network Society if you're local to Sacramento and check out one of her events coming up in Sacramento and Roseville every month. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Talk to you later.
Bye.
I always like end it awkwardly. I never know what to say.
That's funny.